Hello everyone, thank you for being here, for listening to my speech. My speech today will talk about defensive behaviors. The simple notion that one should defend themselves in time that they feel like they are under attack what can have an everlasting effect on one's character. Let's take a look at the bite from a poisonous snake. If you are bitten by a snake, then you usually are affected from the inside out. Just like with defensive behaviors, they usually start from the inside out, and I will later discuss those signs and symptoms that normally occur at that time. After having multiple run-ins on my job with fellow coworkers and management staff, causing me to react in defensive behaviors, I began taking a look within myself to see what role I played in those behaviors and taking a look at how those uncomfortable environments were started. I'm known as a hard worker, dependable worker. I know how to get things done. People really depend on me. But the defensive behaviors was causing me to not be elevated on my job due to those behaviors. Looking back over the last few years of my life, I can remember numerous occasions where I exhibit defensiveness unknowingly on my job and at home. I'm sure that I'm not the only person in this room that have exhibited those symptoms or have seen them being displayed by other people around them. Today I will attempt to explain the definition of defensiveness, its causes, the signs and symptoms, and the positive and negative effects. Lastly, I will explain ways to overcome defensive communication. Let's look how defensiveness can be defined. Defensiveness simply can be defined as means to defend or protect oneself. It also can be, others would say, not taking criticism well and resisting authority. I'm sure we all can relate to those definitions. How does defensiveness occur? There are several reasons defensiveness may occur. I will talk about two of them. The handbook notes that defensiveness occurs when a person is compelled to explain his or her motives or behavior. Also noting that people also become defensive when put in difficult situations. Author, speaker, trainer, and breakthrough leadership mentor Shelley Holmes noted that whenever people feel unsafe in a conversation, they either fight, flee, and effective communication stops. Other signs and symptoms are denying responsibility, making excuses, complaining, and being resistant to criticism. The positive and negative effects of defensiveness have many signs. Since defensiveness is noticed to start at the beginning of apprehension, it has a tendency to block the individual from comprehending what is really being said. Stonewalling, which is an avoidant behavior that occurs when you cease the communication with the other person. Defensiveness can also cause confrontations, which is a negative effect. It also can be seen as bullying, which is also a negative effect. Defensiveness can be labeled as a driven personality, which can be seen as a positive effect. But as you see, as the ones that I just explained, there's more negative than positive when we look at the word of defensiveness. In ineffective communication, you can cause a barrier because you can cause an uncomfortable situation. If people don't want to cause confrontations, they tend to run and flee from you because the situation becomes very uncomfortable for them to be in. Cobb's Counseling and Consulting Group recommends several ways to overcome defensiveness to promote effective communication. First and foremost, I think you should acknowledge that the behavior is there. Also, note the situations that cause you to become defensiveness. Take responsibility for your own actions. Slow down and think before reacting. Refocus and think positively. Reapproach in a positive and calm manner before speaking. I would like to take a minute to read a dialogue pertaining to a defensive conversation. I would like to ask a member of the audience to come up and play one of the persons. Commissioner, would you please just come up and play one of them? I'm going to have Kamisha just come up, and Kamisha is going to play the leader. And she's going to go with the first line.
Rashonda, I see that you, Rashonda, I need to see you about your report.
Please tell me the errors. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Rashonda, I need to see you about your report.
Okay. Being that I've been examining my self-awareness, I have found out that my signs and symptoms or defensive behaviors normally start at this time. If somebody approaches me about being to see me, I normally get fast heartbeats, I normally get really sweaty, and I normally started being real nervous.
I saw a few mistakes on your report. Your numbers don't add up.
Please tell me the errors. Okay, Mr. Rob, let me reassess those numbers.
No, I don't need you to reassess the numbers. You should have paid attention the first time.
Mr. Rob, I would like to reassess those numbers. Right then, I noticed that I'm starting to take a stance on what I think is right, which is starting my defensive behavior. So at this point, I would think, and I would just step back and be quiet and listen to what my leader has to say. By a show of hands, how many people today have experienced defensive behaviors before? Did it make you feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yes. For the last couple of weeks, I have been personally adding this valuable information to my life and found it to be very effective in managing relationships with my coworkers and my family, becoming aware of situations and people who tend to make me defensive, along with the use of strategies like refocusing, silence, and more understanding. I'm now on my way to effective communication while still making my thoughts known in a supportive environment. Conclusion: defensiveness can be positive and negative. The negative always tend to outweigh the positive. Recognizing this behavior and the signs that may accompany will send you on your way to being more of an effective communication. It's horrible.